Okay, actually, I think I know what I want to talk about. So, I don't know how well this will go because this kind of gets into territory that might be, might feel dangerous. Maybe that sounds intense, but, so I want to talk about, like, I don't know how else to describe it. I want to talk about being vain. And maybe I should have actually looked up the dictionary definition of what vain actually means. Because I was wondering recently if there's a negative connotation to that. Or, actually, I think there is a negative connotation, but I wonder if there's a negative denotation to it. Like, is that baked into the word? Because I've been using it recently, because I think it describes me. But I had a moment of like, oh no, what if this is so silly, because I don't know, you're probably watching this being like, of course, like vain has a bad connotation. Like, if you're vain, then that necessarily means that you are also narcissistic. Like, and I guess that's my question, is like, is being vain automatically, does that imply that you're also narcissistic about it? Is that part of the definition of being vain? See, I should have looked it up, but if it is, I'm reclaiming it. Because I think, I mean, it's something that I resonate with because, well, I guess to give context, although I feel like you shouldn't even, maybe part of me feels like I should give this context so you can be like, oh, okay, that's justified. Now you can be not a bad person for being vain. But I think you shouldn't need that context. I think that we should be allowed to be vain without it meaning that we are also narcissistic or thinking that we're better than other people. Anyway, so the context is I've been like really insecure for like my whole life. Well, I don't know. It's actually a really interesting. It's really interesting because a part of me has been like severely insecure, but then also a part of me has been like really, and maybe this is common. I don't know, I haven't thought a ton about it, but a part of me thought, you know, I really like myself and I'm really confident and I'm really good at things. And sometimes where those overlapped is it would feel really unsafe to be confident in front of other people. So that often manifested as something that looked like insecurity, but it wasn't that I wasn't insecure or wasn't secure. It wasn't that I thought I was bad at things, but also I was. I don't know. I think there were different parts of me feeling different things, but there was a part that was like, oh, I'm not good at things. But there was another part that knew I was good at things, but it didn't feel safe to feel that way in front of other people. So I would really kind of like downplay and diminish and minimize. And I guess I kind of switched the topic here to being confident and being good at things. But I think it also, like when the initial topic was being vain, which I'm assuming is specifically about physical looks, but I think it kind of applies to both. But so that's been kind of that's the context, which also the literally classically insecure part of me. I mean, I used to cry and cry and cry in like elementary school, middle school, probably even high school, to be honest. I think high school it was more that second thing. But definitely when I was in elementary and middle school, I just like I would cry because I'm like, I'm not creative. I can't do these things. I'm not good at these things. And I look back and I'm like, what was I thinking? Like I was bursting with creativity and ideas and like doing things. But yet I didn't see that. I was really, gosh, can you hear that? Backing up is getting louder. Oh, it stopped. Okay. What was I saying? And also in terms of physical, what's the word? Physical appearance. I was gonna say physical looks. That sounds weird. In terms of physical appearance, when I was a kid, for some reason, I was shocked that people would ever remember my face. Because I'd be like, what is there to remember? It felt like I had just like such a naturally damn, what's the word? I'm struggling with words today. I guess because I haven't done this in a while. Like not insignificant, but ooh, I almost had it. Non-distinct, that's not what there's a word that I'm looking for. But just that there was literally nothing remarkable about my face at all, to the extent that I could not fathom the fact that there was anything like, what's the word? I'm just gonna go with remarkable enough about my face that people would remember it. So that's kind of like the starting point that I had. And then I don't know, I'm trying to think, did I ever, I don't think I ever had a phase where I felt like I was like, well, did I? It's actually really hard to recall how I used to think about these things on the spot. Cause like I'm like, did I ever have a phase where I thought I was like super ugly? I think I have a lot of interesting thoughts about ugliness and beauty, but again, on the spot, it's kind of hard to remember and formulate them. But until like this year, well, like last year-ish, I guess, I don't know, again, I'm not good with timing. This is getting difficult. Anyway, at some point, I kind of transitioned into being like, wait, why was I ever insecure? Like about anything. Like about my looks, about my abilities, about my creativity, about like literally anything about me. Why was I ever insecure? And I think it's in a way that's like, not that, like, I think you don't have to be insecure regardless of where you fall on like the like I don't think you should have to be insecure whether you're good at things or not. You know what I'm saying? And for each of those descriptors, like, I think you shouldn't have to feel insecure about wherever you are on that hierarchy. Not hierarchy. Man, why can I not think of words today? But anyway, my particular flavor of kind of shedding this insecurity is realizing that, like, hold up, I'm actually like on the higher, like I'm very good at things. I think I'm an attractive person. I'm very kind. I'm very, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm actually not bad at a lot of things. Which brings me back to this initial thing of like, is it bad to be vain? Because for me, I have never understood let's see, how do I want to talk about this? I don't understand why we can't just be like neutral and like, why are words so hard today? Why can't we just be like neutral and accepting and like objective about the reality of things? Like, the reality is I'm good at a lot of things, and that's like, that should be fine. Like, I think I should be able to talk about that without it meaning that I think I'm better than people, or like that I think people who aren't as good at things are like, do you know what I'm saying? Like, I wish there was no morality attached to whether you're good at something or not. And I wish it could just be like, I think, maybe it would be easier with an example. It's gonna be interesting to rewatch this because this feels like I'm my most incoherent. But I hope that watching it back, it'll be, at least somewhat coherent. If it's not, maybe I'll try again sometime. But, so, an example. So I've been learning Chinese since I was 11. So it's been a really long time. And throughout my life, I've had several different experiences where people would be really insecure about their level compared to my level. But the thing was, almost every single time, the people comparing themselves to me, like, by the time I was in college, I had already been studying it for 8 years or something at that point. I'm not gonna do that math. And my classmates had only been studying for a couple years. I'm like, it doesn't make sense. Like, that's not even a fair comparison. Why would you expect us to be at the same level? And I'm not looking down at you for not being at the same level. Like, that doesn't even, do you know what I'm saying? That doesn't make any sense. And why can't it just be neutral? That like, okay, I've had more years of experience and I have, more skills. I'm at a higher level. Like, that just, why can't we just be, why can't we just accept that? Why does it have to be like something we have to kind of tiptoe around? And I guess, why do I have to protect other people's feelings for something that's it's just a fact. It doesn't have to mean anything. And I wish it didn't have to mean anything. You know what I mean? So, because I've had so many experiences like that, I've learned to kind of preemptively diminish my own skills and talents and confidence in myself. And so, fast forward to now, I'm starting to shed all of that and just accept that okay, I'm good at certain things and I love myself, and I also think I'm pretty and I like to look at myself and I like to share all of those things with people. And I don't know if it's like a kind of one of those cases where you've been on the low extreme end of a spectrum for so long that you kind of go all the way to the other end, as a way to kind of I don't know, I guess overcompensate, but I don't mean it necessarily. I don't necessarily mean overcompensate, but maybe I do. But then, maybe as you kind of go along, maybe you kind of end up somewhere more in the middle. But I don't think I'm at an extreme, I don't think I'm at an over-the-top place. I think I'm just kind of accepting, yeah, I'm good at things, and I like myself, and I'm fine with being loud and proud about that. But what I've been wondering recently is I wonder, I mean, I'm sure people think this, where they see kind of this end product and where I am now, and kind of assume that I'm like this, you know, evil, narcissistic, self-centered person who thinks she's better than everyone in the world. And I think that's just really interesting because I don't think that at all. I'm not that way at all. I just wish we could just be, I wish we could just all accept neutrally where we're at with all of these things, and that it doesn't have to, like, there doesn't have to be emotions attached to it or like morality or anything. And I wish that people could see that just because I love myself and am proud of myself and confident in myself doesn't mean that I'm judging other people for not being those things. Does that make sense? Yeah, so anyway, so I'm reclaiming the word vain. Moral of the story is I'm reclaiming vain as a good thing, actually. And I wish that everyone could be a little vain. As I'm saying this, I'm sure that there's kind of a negative denotation to it, but I don't care. But I'm curious if anyone has watched this far, what your thoughts are. As I'm saying that, I maybe want to clarify that I don't mean what your thoughts are on me or what your thoughts are. I don't know. Don't be mean. If you think I'm narcissistic and vain and a horrible person, maybe don't tell me that. Thanks. But I'm curious, like, if you, maybe your own relationship to this, and like your own relationship to confidence and insecurity, and like, do you feel like it would be a good thing for you if you were a little more vain? Or are you a little vain, and do you think it's a good thing? Do you think it's a bad thing? Where do you think you are on that spectrum? I'd really be curious to hear. But yeah, don't be mean. Okay, thanks for watching if you did.